Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Dan Farr of Dan Farr Productions, the man who's brought us FanX for the last 10 years.
10 years.
Daniel,
Yes.
does it feel like 10 years or does it feel like 30 years?
It's interesting you say that. It's gone by really fast, but I feel like I've aged like 15 to 20 years in that time frame. So it's kind of a little bit of both. In some ways it's hard. It's a blink of an eye, but other ways, yeah, it does feel like there's been a lot of things that have happened in that time frame.
Yeah. Let's talk about it real quick. At my count, if I can count off of the website, I see 92 guests currently up. That does
Mm.
not count authors. That does not count featured panelists. 92. Now, the fans have loved to say we can get to 100 for the 10th anniversary. Was that ever on your mind, or is that just fans fasting?
Fan, yeah, fans have said that, and I thought, wow, 100, that's a lot of people, but we'll show, we're going to get close to that. I'm saying 92 is close to it, right? But there's probably going to be a couple more um, names that get mentioned in the process, but I don't know that we're going to get to 100, but we do have one thing that's kind of interesting. We do have some celebrities that are coming and they're associating with vendors, so they may be on the floor, but
I
they're
saw
not
that there's
necessarily
there's at
sub there.
least two
Yeah.
that I'm not going to name because I don't know how official it is out there. There's been a couple of blurby posts, but two pretty big names. And speaking of big names, the ones that are on the Michael J. Fox, Jared Padalecki, who everyone's been screaming for
For years.
forever. Grant Gustin again. Zachary Levi is back. Christopher Lloyd. And it just goes on to the list. We have a Scream reunion. We have Doctor Who people. We have Star Wars people. We have a lot. You did now. Okay, so you said there may be a couple more names. Are we
Mhm.
talking Michael J. Fox, Chris Evans type level? Are we talking people are going to be happy with? I know people are going to be happy with whoever you announce, but are they going to be like? Are they OMG guests? I guess is what I'm asking.
Um, Both guests have been that two guests that are for sure on the list are guests that have come up many times over the years. Um, so yeah, I just the second of the two I need a lockdown. The first one, I think if people watch my Facebook page, they may have a hint of of who that may or may not be.
Well,
But
that wouldn't
there
suck.
may, yeah, there may be a reason. So you can see that's actually a pretty solid guest.
Oh, I
So
yeah, I
yeah,
would have no complaints. No one should have any complaints
no,
uh, on that. There was, and I hate to bring it up because there's always a naysayer. There was one guest that was announced that some people weren't happy with,
yeah.
uh, and as a, and I'm not even going to dignify those people, but as a promoter, how hard is it for you to balance cost benefit,
Yes.
like a guest versus perceived backlash versus actual backlash versus fan want versus impact in the fandom? How do you
Yeah.
go about doing that?
Well, I'll say this is I do take personally when people feel that maybe we are overlooking their concerns. And it mean, when I say personally, it's not like it's just water off a duck's back. I do care about people that may feel slighted or overlooked or somehow disrespected. I will say this: is I've done a lot of research. I've met with that person's agents. Um, I feel like there's some characterizations that may not be accurate. I've seen, that person at other conventions and how great they treat their fans and everybody there. I think so. I guess I guess that I don't want to say that I just ignore
Right.
noise, because I don't. I hear what people have to say, and I validate their concerns that they may have um, real concerns there. I hope what the experience is for people though is that most likely the people that had concerns with this person will most likely they'll just not go to their panel, or they may, they won't even meet this person at the event.
Right.
That's not going to happen. So they won't have a chance to maybe allow the person to redeem themselves if that would happen. But regardless, it's not my job to go and tell people, hey, you should feel a certain way about a certain person. Um, but at the same time, I do know there's a very large group of people that are a fan of this person's work, and I've seen that over the years as we've had guests, and not every guest has a perfect reputation, one way or the other.
Right.
So,
That's true.
um,
And I'm glad, for me, I'm glad that you're willing to look at the body of work versus any, to give that weight. And yeah, you can't discount the feelings of fans because they pay the bills. But it is a fine line. There's vocal minorities and vocal majorities in a
yeah,
lot of cases. But I think this is going to work out. I've seen this person at other events as well, and met them, and
yeah, and
great.
then you've experienced how nice
Oh yeah,
and the
absolutely.
great interactions. Yeah, and so
Yeah,
that's what I expect, and
yeah,
I don't. Um, I just don't see that people. I think people will have a great experience, and if they choose not to interact with this person, not everybody, every convention that every guest we have, not everybody that attends the convention can interact with them anyway.
right.
So there's plenty to choose from.
There are. Speaking of, there are plenty to choose from. Again, there's 92. We're in the middle of a writers and actors strike. But hey, look, if you enjoy what you're seeing and hearing on the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast, why not take a second to click subscribe if you're on YouTube, click follow wherever you're listening to us. Follow us on Twitter at VS Movie Podcast. Same over on Facebook. If you're on Instagram, it's Visually Stunning Movie Podcast. That would be awesome for us. We appreciate you listening. And now let's get back to the show, which has changed the dynamic at a lot of conventions in terms of what can and can't be talked about by the guests. How did that play into you actually getting people and approaching people? And if were the contracts different? I mean, just from a technical standpoint.
It honestly, it has not been a lot of adjustment. There's a few things here and there. I think we find that there's um, a lot more talent available because they're not working.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's one thing that I've had to deal with more this show of actually just telling people, sorry, we can't fit you in.
Yeah.
we've got a full lineup. Um, so that's something there. But the format of the panels change. Maybe the way that photos are set up at the table for the celebrities, for some of them, that may change. But photo ops are still the same. In fact, celebrities can do pictures with. There was a question specifically that was brought up to SAG, like, well, what if a fan comes up and they're dressed as your character? Can you do a picture with them? And SAG's like, absolutely. The fans ask you to do something, you're welcome to do that. You don't need to try to boycott, your resume,
Right.
so to speak.
But in
So
terms, yeah, but in terms of panels, it's going to be a little different. The week
yeah,
with the past, don't even get me started. That's a separate kind of issue. The and I'm going to try to push that out through what little conduit I have to remind people in panels what they can and can't say, and
yeah,
don't be upset if somebody says I can't talk about that. The 2 weeks, we're down to two
yeah.
weeks. What's left? Are you duck on a pond right now? Are you, or I mean, or are you slippery squirrel?
Well, it's definitely a whirlwind of activity getting ready for the event. People ask, they say, "Hey, are you ready for the event?" It's like, well, if the event were tomorrow, no, but we still have 2 more weeks, and we're on track for where we need to be ready for the show coming up in 2 weeks. So yes, we're feeling good with where we are, and it's looking to be like a great show.
Yeah, it really is. Uh 10 years. That's just it's crazy.
Right.
Here's to 10 more. I did actually before I wrap it up, I don't know if you saw it. There are people that are like, I wish we could do this twice a year.
Yeah,
And it's just like, we used to do it twice a
we used to.
year. And that probably is a terrible burnout for you guys.
You know
You'd
what?
never have any
I,
downtime.
honestly, I like it. I was reason why we focused on the one is we felt like we needed to kind of put the steam behind the single show.
Mm,
I'm absolutely open to going back to twice a year. Maybe trying to differentiate the format a little more if possible,
mm.
just so it doesn't feel like the bigger show and then the next size show. It's like they're they're both kind of have their own uniqueness, and so that's something I've been kind of working on, and with the team just trying to come up with what we can do. But we're completely open to revisiting the 2 shows a year.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, maybe I'll have an idea or two I can toss to you.
Yeah, it'd be
So,
great.
I know you've got stuff to do, and there's some off-board stuff I want to talk to you about. So, thank you, Dan, for talking to me. 2 weeks. I know you've got some stuff, personal, not business stuff, between now and then to take care of. But I know
Yeah.
you guys are going to be running. I know that the team is going to be running. I know we're in good hands. I know we're all going to have a great time. So, thanks for coming on. Any
Well,
last
thank
words?
you.
Any last reminders? Any last pitches for the people out there before we go?
Well, it is just such an amazing time. Make the most of it. Enjoy every minute of it. It's going to be, um, we feel, our best production yet, and so I really think that people are going to have just a phenomenal time, and it's going to be a huge success this year, and also that people are going to be, there's going to be some new experiences too. I think that they'll like.
Nice. Absolutely. So if you don't have your tickets yet, go to fanxsaltlake.com. Pick them up. They are still terribly affordable, especially in relation to some other events that I've been to. So thanks again, Dan. I appreciate it. Everyone out there, don't forget to follow social media, Visually Stunning Movie Podcast. You can find us. You know how all that works. You're way more tech savvy than I am. So take it easy, everyone,
Thank
and
you.
have a great day. Bye, Dan.
Thank you.